Hey guys, what's going on? It's Jason Gant. It is week number 2. We're getting moving quickly here in health. I'm excited about everybody's response. I started to go through those and kind of check those out. It was pretty good to know. Like, we have a different group of students, from way out of 4-year, maybe taking a summer school class, to returning student with a family, to your typical student coming straight out of high school into there, or second or third year of school. So a really exciting group of people. We're going to be able to learn a lot from each other, because people have different experiences, whether it's having children or not having children, being in a relationship for a long period of time, or not being kind of new to stuff. So really exciting group of people that we're going to have, and we'll be able to learn from it, myself included. So looking forward to it. Kind of looking here on Canvas as we kind of look through it. We went through module 1.1 and 1.2. I think I left those open until about the half of the week. Going to go ahead and open this, so those will be open for a little bit. If not, I can extend them. I am aware that some of the quizzes are kind of funky monkey, so I will go back and grade. So don't worry about sending me a message and saying, hey, Jason, this was marked wrong. I'll go through one by one as your test goes through and make sure that there was no screw-ups on the test. So if there are mistakes, I will fix them, and I'll send you a little note on the test to make sure it's updated. So I'll probably do those here on Monday night for week 1, or start doing it. So I did get a couple of responses like, hey, that's just misspelled the word or something like that, which I'll give you credit for it. Don't worry about that type of stuff. And if there is something that I go back and I fix it and it's not done, send me a note on Canvas. Let me know that something's up. All right, so we'll take care of that. I'm not going to do you wrong by that. For week number 2, we're going to week 2.1 and 2.2 and 2.3. So we're moving pretty quickly, as you're kind of noticing. Make sure we're working on that 6 components of health assignment. That's going to be a pretty big one. It's a lot of points. Make sure we're getting that stuff in and taken care of as well. I believe that was on 1.2. Right, it was right here, 6 components self-evaluation. Should be written in sentences listing that describe your rationale for numbers as it pertains to each component. Make sure you get that in. That's pretty important to make sure you have done correctly. And then module 2.1, as we kind of go through, lecture for the psychological and spiritual health. So week number 2, so we're going to kind of hit that. So the lecture is right there. Video on how to live to be 100. This is Dan Bredner's Blue Zones idea. Actually, I have a book somewhere over here to kind of how to live to be 100. It's a great book on just these are different characteristics people do to live to be 100. And I think it's pretty important. There's what they call blue zones. There's groups of people in different areas that have lived to be 100. And one of them is in California. And he tries to find commonalities between those groups, because that's what we're about. We're trying to look at health and look at benchmark and find out what we potentially could do to make ourselves a healthier person. And what about being around other people, like mentally, spiritual? What about those 6 components? How do we best get there? At least in my life, I found that what I thought was the best things didn't turn out. And the way things were going to always work out, what didn't always work out that way. So it's important to kind of look at it and then kind of do self-reflection and self-evaluation. And I think that's why that 6 components thing is pretty important. And I really got a lot out of this, out of Live to be 100. I'll be honest with you. I thought there were some good takeaways. He's not saying, hey, you can never have a glass of alcohol. Maybe that's what you don't want to do, but some of the blue zones don't. But he's looking at it and going, okay, here's commonalities of they do, but this is how they work it. How do they create with friendships and different things? So I thought it fits well with the psychological and spiritual health component. So take a look at that. And then quiz number 2, that's from chapter 2 from the book. And make sure you guys kind of pop through and read through that book. But the lecture should have as much information on that as possible, so you'll be able to do that. But I would read through it, the chapter as well. So pop through it. For module 2.2, as we kind of pop through here. 2.2, the chapter 3 lecture is right there on there. It's personal and stress management, huge thing. I just got done playing a Sunday, or basically a 4 games in a weekend playing. I'm an old man compared to the young guys that I was playing against, a lot of former players in there. And I show up to the game today, and the referee says, hey, you realize that I've given you a red card in the past 3 games that I've refereed you. And I said, like, I haven't played that many games that long. He's over a span of 10 years. And it's my competitiveness and my ability to deal with stress. And I did a lot better today, broke the streak. But it reminds me that we're all kind of imperfect in how we deal with stress, and my competitiveness possibly can kind of come out. I think you might have been sprucing a little bit, but it just kind of shows you the realness to it. Then there's a video here, TED Talk, Kelly McConnell's on how to make stress your friend. Stress is a good thing. People that don't have stress usually typically kind of aren't going anywhere. So stress is good, right? It makes us do great things and makes us be powerful and causes us to invent something or do something we're passionate about or become better at ourselves, and kind of taking self-reflection. But how do we manage that stress? How do we not make it too much? Because too much stress isn't good, but no stress isn't good. So it's kind of that balance of how much stress and when is good stress, and what are some of the components that help us with stress. So I thought that was a good thing. And so we'll just have is stress the enemy? Like, is stress bad? Is it stress good? I personally think stress is good, but too much stress and the wrong type of stress is bad. So take a look at that in that discussion on the video. And then there'll be a chapter 3 quiz. Try to put some good little videos in here that I felt like were TED Talks. They were educational and they were thought-provoking, and to get you to be able to have some thoughts for yourself. Popping through to module 2.3. We got a busy week, guys, kind of hitting it running, but you guys all know it's a short class. So we're going to try to get through social health. I have a little assignment here called the perfect match. The perfect match is basically the idea of, like, how do you pick your perfect match for a relationship? They're the top 5 things most important to you. List below. Like, what are these things that you're like, hey, these are the top more important things for me? Which is a deal breaker for you? Like, what is that thing that's a deal breaker for you? Great financial earning potential, fitness and activity level, moving is important or not important, religious or non-religious beliefs, number of children desired in a marriage. These are things that could break up a relationship. Things that going, hey, you're super religious, you have this idea, and then the other person is not religious whatsoever. It can potentially, doesn't necessarily, it will, but it could potentially cause some problems. Is attractiveness important to you? I think I'd be lying to you if that wasn't important to most people. Like, are you attracted to the person? Is there some sort of sexual attraction to them? It's kind of important, I think. Fun personality, spur of the moment, or having fun is really important. Is that a high level of thing? Neatness in home and personal life. Does something like, are you like, hey, the erasers all have to be lined up in the right direction, and the other person's like, I don't care, I'm not going to do my dishes, let's just leave them in there. The toilet roll on the thing, that could definitely cause some problems. Comes from a good family, has a loving family, kindness and caring, hobbies and leisure activities. Second part is see if you are compatible, have a good chance of having a long-lasting relationship with a person. Underline the areas you match with your partner, significant or other girlfriend, boyfriend, any type of relationship that you deem as, it could be a platonic. So, like, find out whatever do you need to, religious or non-religious. So underline the ones that you feel are pretty important. See in the next page, interview part of the project. You're going to be asked to give a list of reasons for this. So you're going to try to find a couple that's been married or together for over 15 years and kind of ask them this levels of questions that are on this. This is for you. I want this turned in kind of individually. I'm not going to have this turned in as like a group discussion. I'd like you just kind of turn it in, kind of look at it. And really the reality is it's for you. It's for you to get something out of asking questions and finding out, like, okay, like I wouldn't have thought that. Like, the person that I'm asking that's been together for 15 years, are they going to try to throw the Bible at me as like, this is the way it is? Or are they going to be like real with you and go like, okay, yeah, like communication's like the hugest thing. Like, we had the 7-year itch, or we had this, or whatever it is. And then we kind of came back and we reevaluated our relationship. Or are they going to be kind of honest with you on different successes? So I think it's a pretty good assignment. I think at the end of the day, relationships are difficult. I think anybody that has been in one or potentially has had experience with it knows how difficult they can be, but they can also be blessings and they can also be so great for you. So it's the matter of finding out the things that are really important to you and being able to put those down on a piece of paper and kind of say, hey, these are what I kind of do. And reevaluate that. Because like in 5 years, the things that were really important to me 5 years ago are not really that important to me, or they still are, but they're not as important. I think for me, like just kind of personally, like top 5 things, like I never thought of when I was younger, I would say this, but like laughing and easygoing and just smiling is like a huge thing to me. Like is somebody a positive person is such a huge positive thing for me, where 5-10 years ago, that wouldn't have been on my top list. That wouldn't have been like, hey, yeah, that's something that really, really important to me. So there you go. That'll be for the first week. So that's our second week we're here on the class. So you go to modules, go ahead and click through those, do those. I'll start to open up 3.1 as the week goes on and try to get those going. I'm really happy with it. If you have any questions, make sure you're posting multiple times on the discussions and kind of engaging into the class. It's a short class, which should be kind of fun in the fact that it's not going to feel like you're doing this forever. I think sometimes in the 18-week courses, we feel like, oh my gosh, I'm doing another discussion. This way, it's kind of quick and going, but we have to stay attentive and try to check in throughout the week and make sure we're staying on top of it. All right. If you have any questions, let me know. Super happy with the group so far and excited to get moving here. All right. Have a great day or week.